form of ego that exists. There's many forms of ego. There's different kinds of ego, because ego is mixed with other spiritual entities which are not ego. There's pure ego that's just ego by itself. There's a bunch of different kinds of mixtures in the form of super ego, the id, but there's a lot of them. But understand that officially, for the record, there's no form of ego that exists on the planet that should be considered by any means acceptable under any circumstances ever. Really, to say that if a condition exists that there's a problem at all, like if there's a problem at all. And otherwise, if it is acceptable, there is no problem at all. But so I can't tell anybody that ego's okay. It's not okay. In too many cases, ego's not okay. It's not even close. But it gets worse than that, because ego is condemned and under condemnation, and in the worst way, being punished as a condemnation. It's under condemnation from even God or goddess. So ego is not okay, not ever to be okay. And ultimately, if it is, then we don't know, because I didn't say, right? Because I understand officially, it's kind of like we can't recognize the ego's okay, because if in less than 1% of the cases, well, it would be like 1/100th of a percent. 1/100th of a percent of the egos in the world will even be considered, and almost certainly not considered, probably. But if they will be, if there's one, there might be thousands, but who knows, you see? So for the official thing people need to know is ego's not okay. It'll never be okay. And if it is okay, there's no problem. And that's the only reason why it's okay. It doesn't seem to be a problem. So we don't even know it's ego, you see? Now the ego it needs to be understood that if there's pure ego, well, I am pure ego. My spirit comes from pure ego. I'm a double Aries. I was born March 23rd, 1968. So I understand that I have a human right, and by the god or goddess, I have a right to be doing what I'm doing in every way, not wrong whatsoever, but even it's more so than that I should be acknowledged in the least amount of way, in consideration, in the least amount of ways. When I say that not only do I have a right, a God-given and goddess-given right, but absolutely more, but that's at least it. So the thing about it, the thing about the ego is it's me, and it's me in the pure form it's in, and it just happens to be because I'm a double Aries, born on the spring equinox in the morning, which is in Aries. It's the first sign. I'm a double first sign of the zodiac in my sun and rising sign, which means that it's just that it's only happened 4 times a year that it gets that strong, and I'm in it. See, I'm in it, and I'm going to say I'm in it to win it. But understand, I've already lost it, meaning that it's already a losing cause. So it's almost certainly I'm not going to ever win it. But understand that I have a right to be myself and be okay, right? That's why this gets complicated now. That's why it's complicated, that we need to understand how complicated that he might be doing something right, or that he might have a right to be doing. We wouldn't deny him that right, would we? Or would we say that only for him, he should be denied that consideration? That he may not have that consideration. He may not have it. Would we be right if we did that, as anybody in charge, or as even a whole, to say that everybody deserves a God-given chance except maybe that guy? Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that may be the only guy that deserves the chance, truly, because in a society that would actually throw out anything that's pure, like any pure gold has to die, well, then that's what would be happening. You wouldn't want to have see, ego can't be considered pure gold. Ego can't be considered, it can't be considered pure gold. If it is pure gold, it's not the ego that is allowed to be even said, so I can't say nothing about it. That's again what the issue is here, is I couldn't really be saying that there's some ego that's pure gold, but most of it's pure nothing, pure crap. So it's ultimately, it means if it's not gold, it's crap, and ultimately I had a right to be, if I'm good with my ego, and even though it's condemned, Well, if it is condemned, then I'm good with it. Well, if I'm pure ego and pure ego has been condemned, is it not true that if it is condemned, then it's condemned for all eternity? And if everybody that's not pure ego has a chance to escape the wrath of God, well, I am pure ego. That means I won't have a chance. You know what I mean? I'll be the only one that doesn't have a chance. It's like that's collateral damage we can't have, my friends. Well, they think that it is collateral damage, but we can't have. Understand we can't have the collateral damage if it's the one person that actually is the pure gold. You can't have the collateral damage being the pure gold, my friends. Even if most of the pure gold is pure crap, it'll be God and the goddess that sorts out who is the pure gold that's the pure crap and the pure gold that's the pure gold. There won't be a lot of it, but we won't have any laws that say that we should try to hurt or kill or destroy or support the destruction of the pure gold. It would be like trying to kill Jesus Christ. Can you imagine that if they were doing that shit, like if Jesus Christ came back in this world, they said it would be too disturbing for us. We'd have to get rid of him. Like, are you kidding me? Well, I understand that it's pretty, but yeah, it wouldn't happen like that because not even the bad forces would literally go after the greatness and pureness of God and try to kill it or destroy it. No, not even Satan would do it, and not even the devil would do it. I can guarantee you, I'm right. Because and if they did do it, they would do it to not in its pureness. They would do it somewhere outside of its circle of pureness, meaning that there's only one evil, and there's lots of evil things. There's only one evil entity. The source is the source. And then there's evil things. And I didn't want to be against my enemy. I was trying to find out what his problem was or her problem. And then find out, like, I was trying to understand them. And I was also feeling that like I had a right to continue to do what I'm doing. I also felt like I should be brave enough to consider taking all the chances I have because I think that my mom or my dad would appreciate me for having a quality that was uniquely pure or that was maybe uniquely that bad instead. Because if I couldn't be pure, because I was stopped from it, literally stopped at the highest price, like you're not allowed to be pure or else, then I would say, well, then I could be the other way around 100%. And then so it's like the difference between if I couldn't be good 100%, but you said I could be good 99%. I would say that no, I can't be 99% good, but you have to be 100% good, and I have to be 100% good too. You see, if the world is 99% good, and I'm 100% good, they won't like me. But it's worse than that because I'll also make them look bad because I am 100% and they're not. So the fact that I'm greater than the world, and the world's not as great as me, it makes the world intimidated by my spirit, intimidates the world. And the god or goddess would say that that's exactly why and what they wanted to happen. It's an intimidating force which makes people think about correcting their ways. It's also how it arrives and why it's there, which means that it's not about people looking at you jealously and saying that you shouldn't have a right to exist because you're better or more pure than them. As a whole, our society is not pure at the highest levels. You know, how pure is the president? Is he 99.9% pure? Well, you can't be that impure. You've got to be 100% or you're not pure. There's no such thing as 99.9% purity. There's only such thing as 0% purity or 100% purity. That's what I want you to know now. So I want to put you on record, or I want to put everyone on notice that I don't like doing this either, but look, this is my job, and I can't wait till it's like, yeah, don't worry. It's not going to continue like it was. I got out of my car. I'm not going to be back in it. I didn't come this far just to quit and say, and just to quit because of intimidation. And I'm the intimidating force here, not the other people. It seems that I let people beat me up or they get their ass kicked from me. That's how it works. And so, you know, the fact that I'm ever disturbed is usually I'm too polite or too nice. But I can get wicked and then I'm usually good. You know, the reality is I don't want to get wicked, but I just want to share with you that if you really feel attacked, and you feel like you're being attacked by something, you can choose to get wicked with your badass self. Get wicked. And if you can be more wicked than them, then they're going to be on the losing end as soon as it happens. But the reality is that you wouldn't want to make a video. And I'm not going to show you how to get wicked. And I'm going to tell you, if I ever did it, I'd only do it to protect myself if I thought I was under attack. So that's why I tell you that too, that you'd only want to be as bad as that is if you can use that for protection. You know, if there's nobody to protect you, but you're hanging over the side of a cliff and the Satan reaches over and says, you falling off the cliff? I help. God, are you falling off the cliff? Do you need me to help you? I was just praying to God for help. I was saying, God, help me. I'm on the edge of a cliff. I know. And I'm Satan. Do you need some help? Grab my hand. I'll do it. I did it. Thank you, Satan, for saving me. Thank you for not killing me. Thank you for helping me. Even though I didn't even know how to help myself, or maybe wouldn't even help you. Okay, great. So do you think he wouldn't appreciate what I just did? Since it was so yeah, it was just so selfless. You think an ego would have wanted to do that? Well, truly, I guess it's possible, but yeah, no, understand that. Would you utterly refuse to take the hand of your savior because you didn't like what he looked like? Or what if your savior showed up and it didn't look like Jesus? In fact, it looked like someone entirely opposite. If you were hanging over the side of a cliff and you were slipping and your savior came up to show up, would you just fall and say, forget it, I don't need to be saved by you? Some few people would, and they're the most dangerous people of all. Because understand that the human instinct should be self-preservation, not self-destruction. Wow. So what I'm learning is, what I'm being told is, I'm being told that I had not been aware on a lot of levels what was going on while I was doing videos and I was talking about something. I was not aware that sometimes my feelings, I wasn't addressing specific feelings. Maybe I didn't even understand all of them, but that's what I'm understanding now, is they're kind of telling me what's going on. And I'm remembering back when I used to do videos and I didn't understand. So partly the reasons why the importance of doing a video right like this again is, this is not repeating the past. This is ultimately trying to help me explain the past. And I'm learning that a lot of the things I didn't understand about why I would do a video before or say what I said, or the subject matter would bother me too. Like, why am I talking about this? You know, I don't even want to talk about the subject matter, man. Well, you don't want to do what we ask? But maybe, okay, yeah, I do want to do what you ask. Okay, well then just talk about whatever it is and don't worry about it. It doesn't matter what they think, but it does matter that you're willing to be the best. So you're saying I am good, you're the best. Like you don't have an egotistical barrier or block that sits in front of itself needing to protect its potential judgment from another for not being it. That my ego does not protect me. And in certain cases, it will not, shall not, must not. And it seems I know which ones that it's important in, because if I can prove that pure gold and could be pure ego, well, it certainly is not going to be in any book, not in any world like this, which means that I've already been told that what I've been doing is pure of heart and heroic. So there's nothing wrong with it. In fact, it may only apply to 3% of the entire world population, which says that these videos that I'm doing and who I'm trying to help is 3% of the population of the world only, and the other 97% absolutely are not going to be even allowed to really, if they see this, they're not going to understand it, so it'll be fine, but they won't be interested in it then, because they're not going to be allowed to understand anything. It's like God will close your eyes, God will close your understanding right off, and so you'll see something and you'll be like, that doesn't make any sense to me, I don't even know what it said. Well, understand, if you can't understand something, well, if you don't, well, as long as you're not bothered that you don't, it should be okay. Because if you don't understand something and you're not bothered by it, that you can't figure it out, well, if you are bothered by it, you should address your own feelings and be honest about it and say, well, I'm really bothered that I don't understand something. Some people would say, well, what's there to understand? If I'm bothered, stop doing whatever's making me feel wrong. Right, but what if I can't afford to stop doing whatever's making me feel wrong? What if I have to keep doing it because it's making me feel wrong? I need to keep doing it until I understand what it is. Well, then you're like, then you're taunting that feeling. Yeah, trying to understand from it. I'm trying to get an understanding. I'm trying to say, why am I feeling so wrong when I'm doing the right thing? Well, maybe that's how we get. Maybe you're so obedient, we get you to do it like that. Well, I want to understand this stuff. I want to have an understanding so I could say I'm not going to keep doing it. But it's worse than or better than I'm not going to keep doing it, because it's going to be that those forces are going to be removed. They're going to be removed. There's a lot of people that are going to be in big trouble soon, and I'm just told don't even worry about it too much. I have to focus on the fact that things will disturb me, and I'm human, and I'm not. My ego is not bad, and my ego is actually maybe better than. Yeah, what I'm saying is that if you were to actually look at it from my point of view, imagine if what I'm telling you now is even remotely possible, and if it is 100% possible, I'm telling you, it's not only 100% possible, it's exactly the truth, but in a strong way. So I want you to know it's not just the truth. What I'm telling you is, it's in a strong way the truth, which means it doesn't just kind of apply as a truth. It's a truth in itself as the truth itself, which means that the pureness of the God of Eris, the pureness of that God, which in the God form before he ends up dead and turned into a human. Well, there's a lot of Aries in this world. Don't think it's just me. I'm not trying to say that I'm the God. Well, any Aries is going to have that God. So it's like, wait a minute, there's a pure form of him. Yeah. The pure form of him went impure. It got impure. So then how could there be a pure form of, there's no more pure form of him, because the pure form that was the God himself went out of pureness. No more. So then wait a minute. If the God of war was a God, he was pure, right? He had to be pure at one time if he ever was a God. But then he was a God that went twisted and became impure as a God. Okay, so right. So then so there was no more purity of the God of the pure ego. The pure ego went bad, did it? Yeah, at some point it did. And it was not always real bad. The ego has not been an entity that has always been what it is. It turned into what it is, and it's never turned out of it again. It's stuck in its place, and we all assume it's just the way it is. It's not going to change. Well, it's not, and we're not even wrong. It is the way it is. I just realized I got to plug my phone in here. So that's the whole purpose, is to realize that I have to be able to do something that I need to be able to do without pretending it or faking it or even messing it up. So what is it that I have to do? What if I don't know? Well, I'm going to be pretty disturbed, don't you think? Well, I know, but what if it costs me my life if I don't know? Well, it'll cost your life more than just this life. If you don't know, it'll cost you every life from now on that you don't know. Like, how many lives is that? 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, forever? All eternity means for all of it forever. So what are the chances if the last 1,000 lifetimes that I've lived in, what are the chances that I actually got this far, or this close, or that far, or that near to where I'm at now, that close, or that it is right here, right now. It is that moment. Are you even kidding me? What if it was that moment right here? And actually, for the first time, 100% pure, that moment right now. Would I suddenly not be disturbed? Well, the truth of the matter is if I was, I would be trying to shut off an emotion by changing it. If you try to shut off emotion by changing it, then it would be, well, I mean, it would only be like fighting with it or struggling with it. So how are you supposed to do it? Like, well, if you can bring yourself to that moment, and when you get to that moment, you can't be disturbed. But what if that's all I've ever been, is disturbed? So then what are you trying to say? That you've always been in that moment, and it's still that moment, and it's just disturbance? So Yeah, I'm trying to say that if there's anything that the world must do to become better, it's exactly what makes me worse. So it's kind of like the cure for cancer is going to be that because some people get the cure, they'll get killed instead. It's kind of like getting immunized and you died from getting immunized. Like imagine getting immunized for COVID and dying from it. As a result of you got immunized, if you hadn't got immunized, you would have been fine, but you did, and then you died as a result. Well, that's like you getting the disease from the being immunized. Well, that's not even impossible. It's very unlikely. But understand that they actually, when they immunize you, they give you an altered version of whatever it is that it is, the virus. And so for some people, it literally, it could be that understand that I am wrong, bad. I'm like wrong and bad. What am I so wrong and bad? Because I am pure ego. It is because I was born on the spring equinox. The moment of my birth, on the 3-day period, at the start of the summer, spring equinox. I'm a double Aries. I'm a double first sign, first house. So I've got a provable moment that explains the whole idea. I am evil and wrong and bad because I have like only the aspects of ego on both my feminine and masculine sides. They're just all ego aspects of what becomes what our pure ego is. So wait a minute. So does that mean I have my personality or my spirit has a tendency to make people misbehave? No, not in me. Obviously not, because I don't misbehave at all. In fact, I behave so well, and I am a model citizen in behavior. When you want to talk about real important behaviors, well, let's talk about a behavior like, okay, what about drinking? Does that matter? No. If you're told drunk, fool, that's fine or not fine, because if you're not a drunk, you're not any better, and certainly you might be worse. Because some people who drink are trying to deal with the feeling, they're trying to deal with the feeling they have, and they can't deal with their emotions, so they drink. So people who drink are not necessarily bad because they drink. They're actually drinking because they are feeling bad. And so I guess that is a result kind of like that. So in other words, because you can ignore your problem and then you don't need to have a drink over it, it makes you worse, but you'll feel better and think you're not bad. See, what I've learned is that not only will the world tend to discredit anything I'm going to say, but they'll also steal every bit of information. If it's anything good, they'll take it for themselves, and I'll never get credit for anything. I've already been told this. I'm okay with it. I'm not expecting that I'm going to make anything on what I'm doing, but it is still frustrating to feel what other people are doing on some level, and knowing that what they're doing is utterly not okay. When they're stealing something from me, stealing it and taking it as their own, and utterly doing it on purpose, with purpose, it's like I feel it, and I think like it's just wrong. It is. And but the reality is that then why am I doing a video? Well, I'd say that's a question that they'd probably ask. Why am I doing a video? Maybe you don't know. Maybe you have no idea why I'm doing a video. Maybe you couldn't possibly know why I'm doing it. Why would you even ask that question, or why would I? Because if I did know why I was doing a video, I wouldn't ask the question like that. I'd say, well, you might not know why I'm doing a video, but I guarantee you if I'm doing a video, it's for a reason. Like, I always had a reason why. So what they do is they would try to say, I could take from you, and because you're not going to stop doing your video, well, then we could take from you. Like whatever they're doing on some level in the spirit, it's criminal activity, spiritual. It's like a spiritual crime, and they're going to get in trouble for it. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying, like, you're going to wait till you see there's going to be some people going down that have been thinking they can get away with stuff. Like, well, that guy's dumb enough to try to speak his feelings if he's got to lose that much. Well, don't you lose a lot when you speak your feelings like that? You probably do feel like you lose much, right? Yeah, but if you're that dumb that you're going to just feel your feelings and lose that much, and we're going to take it and like it, and we're not going to feel those stupid feelings, you know what I mean? I'd be like, wow, so you actually are making it perfectly lawful for you to be perfectly rob somebody, and you're saying it's perfectly lawful, but in fact, you're going to blame the robber for being robbed. It was. You're going to call him a robber. You're going to rob the robber. Yeah, it's like, are you kidding me? You're going to actually. It's like if I said to you, if the robber gets robbed, it's his fault, and I'd say, wait a minute, didn't you say that wrong? You mean if the victim gets robbed by the robber? No, I meant if the robber gets robbed, it's his fault. Okay, wait a minute though. If the robber gets robbed, so we found a robber. Who robs the robber? Robin Hood. Who's going to rob the robber? Robin Hood is going to do it, my friends. How's he do it? Oh, he's going to. It's called specialized stealing, selective, doing something on a spiritual level. It doesn't even matter. Yes, like doing back to the people that they're going to get a taste of Robin Hood here. It's like Robin Hood is showing up here now and saying, well, there's some people that definitely ain't Robin Hood. They're not anywhere near that good. Because Robin Hood will actually be way worse than they are and steal a lot more. But he'll be stealing from them. That's why they'll call him Robin Hood. Because he's not going to steal from someone who don't got enough or try to kill someone who doesn't have enough. He's going to go find someone who has plenty. And he's going to take everything from them. Maybe till they end up dead. But ultimately, maybe. Yeah. They would have to convince me that I'm wrong, or convince me that my sources are wrong. And there's a lot of attempts to try to do that. And understand that I'm actually not disturbed, and I'm fine, because I know now. You understand that my feelings are. It's a matter of time. Like, I'm not going to engage in arguing with anybody. Would I argue with anybody tomorrow? Like, if someone started arguing with me, what would I do? I'd say, I didn't want to argue with you. Can I leave now? And they'd say, well, I'm going to start a fight with you or an argument. And I'd say, can I leave now? I want to go anywhere but where you are right now. I want to go somewhere else. So ultimately, because I used to think I needed to like help people understand why they're wrong. And now I know that I can't help you understand why you're wrong. If you're wrong, I'm not going to try. The idea that I would help you try to see how wrong you are is because I thought you wanted to escape the karmic wheel. And I didn't know that you were not even considering the fact that there's even such thing as a karmic wheel. Because I didn't know you had no idea at all. This world, you should see all the shit I've seen. People are not happy anywhere. And everywhere I go, there's someone yelling. There's like, I see every kind of, in this world, I've been walking around. See, I'm not in my car anymore. I'm now traveling and moving around on foot. And what I'm seeing is that everywhere I go, there's trauma happening. There's people hurting and actively hurting. Like I hear people yelling. Even, I don't know if you heard that. Yeah, there's people having trouble, difficult times. Every freaking place I go, there's trauma happening in this society. Gas prices are $5+ a gallon. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Can you believe that everywhere I go, down every street, do you think that I know where all the bad people are so I can go find them? I say it everywhere I go. I see it. I'm being shown it. The Spirit shows me this stuff. Goddess is showing this. She says, I want to take you looking around. I want you to, are you willing to go that way? Yes, I am. Put your car somewhere and go that way. On foot? Yes. For how long? For 10 days. I'll do it for 20 or 50. Like I'm a soldier in the field. I'm a combat soldier in the field, and I don't fight wars. Not anymore. So there's a time of peace for me. But understand that in the field, I could literally sleep in an alleyway. I could go to a house. I could sleep at a friend's house. I don't have my own house, but I got a car. I can sleep in my car. I got a van. The reality is wherever I go, I can go anywhere. And there's nowhere I don't go. There's nowhere I can't go, because I can go everywhere like a combat special forces unit, and I don't carry a gun. Understand that when I say I do it like a soldier, it's to have the motivation and strength. People when it's all right, because understand that big Uncle Bob. Let's call him Uncle Bob. Uncle Bob is like, he's like some badass Hell's Angel, but Hell's Angel's like a nice guy, because Uncle Bob is like way worse than, like, picture like the kind of Hell's Angel that really you should fear. You know, just a badass Hell's Angel dude that's could be real dangerous. Well, Uncle Bob is much worse than that, and maybe he'd say this, that guy's not even bad. He just knows that he knows who deserves to get what. So it's like, you don't even know that people get what they deserve, and people that don't deserve to get anything, like hurt. Understand, I don't deserve to be hurt, and I don't deserve anyone to even think about it. I understand, if anyone wanted to try to hurt me, it wouldn't be Uncle Bob. Uncle Bob is just Satan or the devil. I call him Uncle Bob because I don't like to keep saying those names, even though I could. That's what they are. I don't feel great about my uncle. He's a mean uncle. He's a murderous uncle. He's a terrible uncle. I also like him because he's like, he protects me, man. He's also my friend, and he'll give me a bunch of advice, tell me how to be strong. He tells me how to kick everyone's ass mentally. So when I'm feeling bad, and he'll come over and say like, hey, you dumb nephew of mine, what's going on? You dumb head. And I'll be like, kind of knowing that he's calling me names, but I'll think it's funny because I could also tell he doesn't hate me. So also if I'm afraid of him, it's because I wasn't kidding when I said that he's my uncle, and he's that much of a badass. He's not good at all. And maybe he says he's good, but the reality is what I'm saying is it is scary. And Mom says that I have to act honest about what's going on. That she says, I don't want you hiding your feelings. Feel it like it's really how you feel it. Don't pretend. She says, if you're going to do these videos the way that I need you to do them, if you're going to be the great hero who you're going to be, who am I going to be, Mom? The son of his mother and father. Who is my mother and father? Well, you know, your mother's a goddess, right? Well, she must be. That's what I'm telling you. Then is my father a human? He could be, or he's a god, and it might be worse that he's a god. So it might be better that he's a human. But my mom's is a goddess. She's a divine feminine. I came from a divine feminine, not a divine masculine. So I came from a woman. I can guarantee you. And so the divinity I got is from a divine feminine. It is not from a divine masculine. So I could not have and did not come from the god of war or Eris. I came from whoever the goddess of war is. Berutha, you got a name for it. Why you choose to be a karma? Did they rob you too? Okay, well, look. If you engage in karmic activity, or you could become a karmic. So let's talk about that for a minute and how important it is. It's really important that you know this stuff, and unfortunately people don't have any idea, so we fall right into all these traps. So if you're a karmic, it's really hard to get yourself out of it. Once you become a karmic, it's like a chemical kind of reaction that is you can undo it. You can ultimately do a reverse chemical reaction. It's really hard to do. All chemical reactions happen as they go one way. When the reaction happens, then it becomes whatever else it is and has another reaction, perhaps, or not. But chemical reactions don't really undo themselves or happen in reverse. But it's possible. If you do become a karmic, it's too late. And then once you're a karmic, you'll be stuck on the karmic wheel of life forever, for all eternity, and that includes for 10 million trillion billion years, which means that you'll have 1 billion lifetimes and will be born over and over again, and you'll just have to die and be reborn and erased and have to come back and then go. There'll just be this. It's called the karmic wheel. And people that wouldn't want me to tell you this, so the pressure you'll feel about hearing this is that some people wouldn't want me just to tell you that what I just said because they don't want you to know. And understand that the goddess said she does want me to tell you. So she says, if I feel bad while I'm telling you this, she says it's okay that you're feeling bad. Uncle Bob's watching whatever anyone's doing, and she's telling me what's happening. So wait, I'm feeling like something's wrong, right? Yeah, she says, but don't stop the video. Keep the video going. Okay, I get it. You're saying that I'm going to be disturbed during this video because of other forces that are interacting with it. Yes, like people watching it somewhere else live. So then, okay, so I should be okay with feeling terrible and bad? Yeah, whatever happens, let it happen because we're watching and we've got your back. I'm thinking, okay, great. So then Uncle Bob's going to take care of this? Yeah, your Uncle Bob's going to find out whoever's been messing with you. Okay, great. And if I'm making this up, well, then I'm a dumbass, laughing stock of the world. then I'd laugh myself out of this. You know what I'm saying? Like the idea that I could even be mistaken in any of this, and how crazy it is that I'll go this far. Like the idea that I could actually be not making this up. Well, if it's true that I'm not making this up, then it makes it pretty damn important. They would try to push you out of doing something, and they'll try to make you stop doing something they don't want you to do by you'll be exposing them when you talk about what they're doing to you or you point it out. So whatever they're doing to you, it's not going to work. And if they are doing something to you right now, well, I promise you, if you're watching this video, Uncle Bob's got your back, and don't talk to Uncle Bob, and he's not your friend. He's my uncle, and he's not my friend either. So he's just the brother of my mom, who's a goddess. And I'm not gonna say, but he's worse there is. He's worse than the devil or worse than Satan. He's the most evil son of a bitch in the whole damn land. He's the guy he's the boogeyman himself. Okay, great. So Uncle Bob's gonna help us. Yeah, I'm saying, but don't think that's great and don't appreciate Uncle Bob, because we're not gonna teach people to like Uncle Bob. And Uncle Bob told me that you don't like me, nephew, because I don't want anybody and your friends in school. I don't want any of them liking me or thinking I'm good, because I'm not good almost most of the time, unless I feel like it. Okay, great. So you're telling me I can't even like my own uncle? Well, you have to know how bad he is, and he doesn't want you to like him. Okay, so I'm not wrong for feeling like, damn, if I like my uncle, I'd be in trouble. Yes, you would. If you like your uncle, you'd be in trouble. But wait a minute, but I do kind of like him, but you're not in trouble because you're not feeling all proud of yourself like a big ego right now. You're trying to point out that your ego's not even allowed to be here right now. It's not. That's also why I'm feeling disturbed. So if I felt really okay right now, it would be because my ego is here, and I'd feel fine then. And then I'd be beating somebody else up. But I have to get rid of my ego when this happens, because I can't take it back. It's fine. I just don't like it. So don't think I'm that disturbed. I'm perfectly okay. And understand that, like, if they're pulling hairs out of my head or doing whatever they're doing, well, understand that Uncle Bob's filming it. So Uncle Bob says, don't worry, I'll get it all back times 10 later. So just let them take whatever they want, because ultimately it's just going to be his reason to convict with force and unforgiving mercilessly. And I'm just saying, I'm not going to feel good about that either. And they told me not to feel good about it. They said that you better not like it, the fact that we're going to hurt people because they're trying to hurt you. We're going to hurt them as a result. We're going to hurt them way worse, and it's going to be way bad for them. And ultimately, we don't want you to appreciate us for it, or even think that we're good. And we might be your friend, but we'll decide if we're your friend. Don't decide that you can even afford to be our friend, because what you need to know is that your friends might look and see what you're doing, and your instruction is you're not allowed to like what isn't good, even if it's good to you, and maybe only to you. Especially, you can't be that special, can you? Or at least you can't like it. Yeah, okay, fine. So that's pretty like getting off pretty easy, you know? Like saying, well, damn it, you mean the devil's not after me or against me? No, he's like your Uncle Bob. Okay, so I'm freaking okay with everything. I should just be okay. Yeah, don't worry about it. So wait a minute. I thought Uncle Bob was hurting me or trying to attack me. No, those were his followers that are following him. And he's not their uncle. He's your uncle. Are you trying to tell me that the people that were trying to hurt me are Satanists or something like that, or devil worshippers? Yes. And they're not devils or Satans, actually. They're people that worship devils or Satan. And devils, and their uncle is not him. What I'm saying is, well, then don't laugh. Don't laugh. You say out laugh, oh, no way. Yeah, I'm not going to be okay with it. I'll laugh about it, but I take it back. I'm not going to, it can't be good. They're going to get in huge trouble, what they're doing. And then I can continue this on, I hope. That's why, hopefully, it should have already happened. They're really determined to get me. Understand that today I should have been able to do a video, but no problem. The reason why we're talking about this right now is because understand that I was supposed to be able to do this today, and there wasn't supposed to be a problem. There's not really a problem. Well, what there is that there's the continuance of some determination from some group of people or some individuals, which are determined to They ignore the devil and also worship him, thinking they can be him, take his strength, and he'll let them do it until he finds out who they are. Yeah, because he'll let everyone do it. You can feel free to take the devil's strength if you want to worship him, and then he'll tell you what to do, and he'll say that your soul's just his from now on. But my soul's mine, not his. So my uncle might be the devil, but I get to keep my soul. I don't sell it to him. I didn't sell it to him. He didn't take it, and he doesn't want it. He just takes everyone else's soul. So understand that unless the devil or Satan is your uncle, or you're related to him, that you have to give your soul up. As a result of, he's going to do anything for you at all. And what he does is make you strong and invincible and fearless, and like every man's dream or every soldier's dream. Yeah. And ultimately Jove can do it. So Apollo can do it. So many of the gods that aren't who we're talking about here, the two gods of this world, the devil's a god of this world. That's what he says. And Satan's also a god of this world. That's what he claims. So I'm not saying that he has to be anything, and I'm saying I'm perfectly willing to be wrong if it is wrong, except that I just want you to know that that's just actual quote-unquote claim. Both of them, they're brothers. So wait a minute, and you're trying to even admit that you're some nephew? Well, no, I'm trying to say that, well, yeah, if I was, I'm trying to say my mom is a goddess. Don't you tell me I'm wrong. My mom is a full-fledged goddess, Venus. She could be Minerva. Oh, but we're trying to make you wrong for having an Uncle Bob. Yeah, but what you don't understand is I got a mommy, Venus or Minerva. Don't you tell me that my Uncle Bob means anything, because my Uncle Bob don't even count. He doesn't even want to count. That's just where I wanted to get him back. I was also pissed off too, because I didn't know about this for a long time. And so part of my determination to fight with them was that I wanted my Uncle Bob's help as well. Do you know who the heck is my real parents? I could probably actually help you with that. You know that? If I could ever get back to what I did, I'm really good at what I do. It's a matter of, there's a determined party, the people that are just determined to stop me under any circumstances. And I'm sure they don't, I don't know how many, they would be willing to hurt me. And ultimately, that's what I'm saying, why I'm a hero. Understand that just because someone wants to kill you, that you shouldn't say that's the reason you should stop doing what you're doing. If you've got the guts to continue to do it, well, then just be careful. Make sure that you're backed up by the powers that be, man. Make sure that your goddess is going to back you up. Make sure that the devil or Satan's going to back you up, man. Ultimately, do you even want to ask him? I'm saying that I didn't ask him to. I said I was told they're doing it, and I'm not allowed to ask them. I don't have a choice in what they're going to do for me. They're just going to do what they feel like doing. It has nothing to do with me. So part of me wanted this. It wanted to say, like, do you understand that when I come back, I'm going to be so righteous, and I'm not going to be wrong, because everything that I've ever done is right. And I'm the best example of anything that is pure and that is true in this world. I'm the best example of it. And if people weren't attacking me, trying to make everything that's pure in me disturbed, well, that's the only chance they'd have. And then people could look at me and say, if that's so great, then why is it so disturbing? Well, that's the plan of people that would try to disturb me, because I got that great. I wouldn't be disturbed. I don't start conflicts, not ever. I certainly wouldn't fight with you. I would only talk about good things. I would only be nice, and ultimately, I'm not a jealous spirit whatsoever. Jealousy is not in my code book. Like, I'm so removed from any wrong or bad. I'm purity itself. In fact, I'm a model at what a man should be, who has a goddess and the divine feminine properly, with a masculine too, strong. And then I'll tell you, I can be wrong on purpose, but that doesn't give me a license to kill. But maybe it does. In the worst case scenario, it at least does, because I'll tell you that my Uncle Bob says he's got a license. He is the license to kill, and that this world will ever get. And ultimately, people will try to think they can take that license whenever they want it. I don't want to take it. I'm saying if I didn't have a choice, that if they said you got a license to kill and we'll keep it for you, I'd say, well, yeah, I really don't want it anyways. But if you're going to keep it for me, you don't even have to tell me that. Do I even need to know? Well, that's the whole crazy thing. So I could probably help you understand that if I could, I might be able to do it right now. If I got my cards, I think I might have actually. You know what I did? Damn it. I left him I left him where I'm staying. I could help you, and I'd be glad to, and I'll tell you why. Because although I can make good money, and I've made pretty good money in the past, I charge $45 to $60 a reading, and I've never had a complaint. I've done thousands of readings, and I have not had a single one time where someone said they didn't like my reading, but I've had people say I was psychic, and I'm not, because I get my information from my mom, and she's a divine feminine. And ultimately, if I get my information from Uncle Bob, well, he prefers me not to know about it. So he just say, like, if it's me, well, if Uncle Bob tells me stuff, that's my uncle. If he's talking in my head, I don't even know what he's saying. You understand? If my Uncle Bob's the God of this world, or it claims to be, well, if he can back up his claims, I suppose he'll find out whether he can or not, right? I won't be with him to do it. He might be with me, though. I don't know. You see what I'm saying? You have to look at these truths, people, because there's lots of people that are going to suffer, and they won't be strong because they won't take what's required. So what is required here is, for first of all, I have to get myself in a mental place where I'm able to help you. And right now, I'm just thinking about my Uncle Bob, and I hope he's doing what, yeah, I know he's doing it. Yeah, right now what he's doing is he's finding out whoever's is trying to interrupt my live broadcast. That's also why I'm staying on it. And so I don't know what he's doing exactly, but he's in the process of hunting it down, the signal down, to find him. And so, but the thing is I don't want to do this too much, and I won't do this every day. I used to want to do it all the time. I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't mind, because I could usually win. I could always win. I never lose. I mean, I'm stronger than strength itself. And ultimately, I feel lots of disturbing emotions all the time. In fact, I could say I'm disturbed like 24 hours a day, really, but it's not that bad of a disturbance. It's just kind of like an uncomfortableness, which is not really okay or satisfied completely with itself. It's more like, it's like an okayness with being not okay. Like, but I am okay with it. It's like a sadness. That's what I am, but I'm doing it better than anyone else. And no one accepts me, and I don't accept myself, and I'm doing it better than anyone else. And they're not doing it that good. In fact, many of them are doing it really bad. You see, it's pretty sad that I would be dead and I would have killed myself if I had not been told by deities themselves that what I needed to know. Like, the reason why I don't get any recognition at all by official sources is because maybe they're not allowed to give me any until they are. They can't. But the reality is I don't know if it's because they can't, or they're waiting to, or they didn't. There could be a lot of possibilities in different parts of the society, in different jurisdictions. There's different ways the laws work with different rules. So it doesn't apply to one area. It could be different in any place it is. But what you want to know is the truths that I'm going to provide are going to not only change the world in a huge way, but they're going to help get rid of the people that need to be getting rid of. Those will be the people that are going to be getting rid of right now. The ones that are trying to stop me will be the ones that are going to get stopped. What they're going to find is that they tried to bite the hand that feeds them, and they didn't even know who the hand that feeds them was. And ultimately, I wouldn't dare bite the hand that feeds me. I just appreciate getting anything from it. And if I feel guilty for saying thank you when I'm starving and the devil feeds me because no one else does it, well, then I'm saying thank you, and I won't feel guilty. Or he comes to me and says, it's just me. Yeah, they're going to punish you. They're going to say, how dare you take any food, and we won't give you none. You see, they'll starve me out. They wouldn't give me they'd let me starve to death, and then they'd expect me to feel guilty because I'd ever take food from, the bad guy, as soon as he showed up to give me some. So he's just getting pissed now. He's not going to keep doing I can't imagine that I would do this one more day. Like, if tomorrow if this isn't settled by tomorrow, I'm going to say Uncle Bob couldn't do it. I'll just say he couldn't do it, because if tomorrow I'm still disturbed and it didn't fix itself, then I'm going to say Uncle Bob obviously couldn't do it. He didn't do it. Yeah. Either he's strong enough to do it and he's going to take care of it, or it'll be done with. Okay, so if you want to know who your real parents are, let me tell you already. The reason why you want to know you're trying to find out something, is because you already know it in your feelings. And so the concept of how God or goddess can talk to you in your feelings as compared to how they talk to you to your face is that when a person talks to your face, you can hear their words, or you can see their body and, their mouth moving or whatever, or hear their voice. So you get to witness the interaction you're having whenever you are talking to a human being that's right in front of you. Even on the phone, when you hear somebody talking to you, you hear their voice. It's loud and clear. So there's a phenomenon that happens in this world that people overlook that I want to point out to you right now. Every time that you are communicating with anybody in this world, you're actually allowed to witness the communication in real time as it happens. And you wouldn't think there's nothing special about it, except to say that there really is, because you're not allowed to witness the communication, almost certainly, with God or goddess, as a rule, ever since we were condemned to this earth and placed here. So we don't get to share or participate in our communicating. So how does God or goddess talk to us? Well, that, again, the world doesn't know because it didn't learn from me. And so if the world doesn't know and it's not going to tell itself, maybe it doesn't know. But if it's not going to tell itself, well, then it needs to learn from me, because understand, if it didn't tell itself, then I'm going to ask itself, why didn't it? And why do I have to then? You see? And then I get a little worried because I say, well, damn, doesn't that mean that, what are they going to be mad at me if I said something like this? I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to say, you mean God and goddess talk to your feelings? Yes. If I'm God, I'm going to talk to your feelings, and I'm going to leave you out of it, which means you don't hear I'm not talking to your head. I'm not talking to your ego. I'm talking to your heart. If I talk to your heart and I'm goddess and I'm talking to your heart, well, then I could do it. And I could leave you entirely out of the conversation. And what happens then is when you're having a conversation with God or goddess, well, you certainly won't know, but you'll feel it. And as a result of whatever they're telling you, based on also as a result of whatever you've been doing, and also as a result of why you're even here and what you originally did, which is all pretty much the same thing, and then very much different, and so isn't the same. So you have to understand there's so many conditions on each person, has a whole different thing. We're all condemned though as one whole society, which means that it's pretty much the biggest difference in each individual case with it's all the same and everything. The feelings that you have may be that you have an anxiety attack because God or goddess is trying to talk to you. And the fact that you don't know that you're supposed to let that anxiety happen is a result of ignoring God or goddess way too long and having anxiety from it and not knowing it was them talking to you. And they're not going to talk to your face. Not for sure. Because you're not counted. But understand, I'm included here. When I say you're not counted or you're condemned, well, I'm condemned. We're all condemned. Every one of us is. There's not one of us on this earth that escapes it. So understand that the reason why that you'll never be able to talk to them except through your feelings is because we got ousted, shut down, and shut off out permanently. God and goddess said we will no longer allow you to even witness the interaction. When we come to you, we'll talk to your heart. You won't even know who it is or that we're even there unless somehow we tell you. And so this is important for me to be doing, because understand, unless someone like me has the guts to say a bunch of things where he feels like, oh my God, I really wouldn't do this unless I was willing to really expose myself and look wrong. Well, that's what makes me so damn good and why I'm such a hero, is that I'm not just willing to make myself look wrong. I already told you I'm working for deities, and I'm going to go all the way. I trust that my mom is real and Uncle Bob is real too, whether I'm friends with him or not. And I don't think I am, because I'm not allowed to be. I think that's what he said. So the feelings that you have is when Uncle Bob talks to you too. I understand when he's telling you something, he could be telling you anything bad. He could be threatening you, telling you what he's going to do to you wrong. It could be, understand why you're going to feel bad, because you're not going to know the difference between God, goddess, or the devil, or Satan anymore. When any of them are talking to you, none of them are going to let you even know that they're there, because you're not allowed to know. So they're going to talk to your heart, and what you're going to do is feel the feelings that come from whatever they're telling you, whatever it may be. You're going to have a feeling that comes to you based upon your emotional, spiritual, and especially spiritual response. which will also bring on a flood of feelings now, which are not emotions. But that's what causes it to become anxiety, is that the feelings that stem from the emotions are that the emotions aren't even yours, and the feelings caused are from those emotions that aren't yours, and the feelings are yours. And they're also like emotions. So feelings and emotions are kind of the same thing, even though they're not at all the same thing. No one even knows any of this. So what do you need to know? That you will stop talking to God, and you will ignore him and shut him off. And because the devil talks to you and he don't like you, you won't listen to Goddess or God anymore. That's a lot of people fit that category. A lot of people, because the devil or Satan will give them hell, talk to their heart and scare them by just threatening them. Well, a lot of people say, I'm not letting that ever happen again. And then I'd said, you just cancel out God and Goddess now. You can't talk to them ever again. Well, no, I didn't. Yes, you did. You don't even know what you've done. Well, no, I'm saying you don't know what you're saying. Oh, no, not only do I know what I'm saying, but let me tell you something. It doesn't even matter if I don't know it. Maybe I don't even feel like I know it, but I guarantee you it's true. Whatever I'm saying. Okay, so you're trying to tell me because because of the devil or Satan comes and threatens me, you mean now God and Goddess come to talk to me and I don't even, I'm going to also ignore them? A lot of times it'll happen like that. Do you think they go punish the devil? Do you think that mom punishes Uncle Bob? Says he can't do that to people anymore? No, because mom says, Uncle Bob, if they won't listen to us anyways and you want to start threatening them, well, that's just because they all work together against us. This is not a war between good and evil, my friends. You're all my friends. None of you are my enemies. So I understand when I say my friends, I'm including every one of you, because whether you like it or not, you'll all be my friends. I don't have enemies. That makes me feel good. You should feel good about that too. And it's just sad that I had to do this again, like another day, like of doing this. You know how determined they are to freaking stop me from being able to do one reading, live. It's just sad. Okay, so if you're looking for trying to talk to God, well, first of all, you probably cut him off. It might be Goddess, and you won't listen to her, and you want to talk to God, but he won't talk to you because maybe they're in agreement that you won't listen to her, so God doesn't talk to you because you don't talk to her. And many people are in that predicament. And there's also a predicament where you don't even have to talk to her. Maybe God talks to you and she doesn't talk to you at all. It doesn't have much to say, but truly, there's so many different versions of, and they all count. They're all implying, which means that it's very complicated, not simple at all. It's likely that you don't even listen to God or Goddess anymore, that you don't know the difference between when the devil, who claims to be God, or when the Satan, who claims to be God, absolutely may be. Yeah, I certainly can't say it's not true. He claims it, and I'd say, okay, well, if you are who you are, then I would agree that you are Uncle Bob. If you say you are and you're God of this world, well, I'm not going to tell you can't be who you are. So understand that. What you'll do is you'll cut God or Goddess off. Okay, so what do you need to do to get them back? You're going to have to let Uncle Bob or any of them in, and I'll tell you, Uncle Bob's not going to mess with you if you're not wrong. Because he's going to mess with people that are evil and malicious like himself. In fact, he's going to go find those people that have his characteristics, the best ones he calls that he has, that he doesn't abuse people with. So the fact that you get all the characteristics from Uncle Bob, they're all his characteristics. Just remember that. They're all his, not yours. People who are evil are using characteristics that are not of themselves, yet are of themselves, but are not theirs. And ultimately, Uncle Bob is not bad with his badness, but they don't know how to be good with it. And it turns out to be that not only will they get blamed for thinking they could try to be Uncle Bob and actually think it wasn't Uncle Bob, well, understand all this stuff it's about you being able to know what you got to do. Well, the first step is to be not afraid of the Uncle Bob. Don't be afraid of evil, and know that you're not going to get attacked and screwed with by some evil forces that are going to, that's tactics to scare you. That's to make you timid, so you'll drop your shields down, let the force go away, and you could give your power to whoever picked on you that made you believe it. And it may be Uncle Bob that did it. Ultimately, it could be coming from human beings or the spirits themselves, who are the actual deities. And in all cases, they all do the version of the same kind of badness. But Uncle Bob will only punish people that deserve to get punished. And the problem with the people that take Uncle Bob to do it and think they could be doing whatever they want Well, some of them don't even know what they're doing, and they don't even know they're Satanists. The problem is, if you're a Satanist and you don't even know it, don't think that changes the thing. If you take Satan's spirit and think it's yours, well, then I guess it is yours. So you won't. Yeah, it's not like you're a Satanist and you have to know it. You could be a Satanist and you wouldn't know it. But certainly, if you know it, then you actually are no doubt probably not bad. Because if you actually are a Satanist and you knew it, then you're probably informed about it. No one's informed about it. You know, if you got told and understood why you could be a Satanist and wouldn't be bad, it's because Uncle Bob is your uncle, and you can't. If they're going to call you a Satanist because Uncle Bob is your uncle, then they let him take it. They could take it up with him. You know, take it. Let them fight it out. He'll get pissed about that kind of shit that they're making claims like that. Like, how dare you have an Uncle Bob? Well, I can't help who he is, and don't talk to me about it. Talk to him about it, or he'll come find you and talk to you about it. You know, you're trying to find out who you are, and I'm going to say that what I'm telling you is not that hard to guess if you want to read between the lines. And I can also tell you directly, what I'm telling you is, it's hard to believe, but understand, I'm the first kind. There's no other really like me that came before me except whoever is in a spiritual sense. There's not humans that are going to be out doing what I'm doing. Not a lot. It's my one purpose to be on this earth, to do it, to help, not to hinder. And I don't attack evil. In many cases, I try to help it. And I'm not evil. And I don't attack good either. And I wouldn't want to attack it. So understand that I'm really good to the point of no return. And I might come back and not leave at all ever again. So understand, when I'm conscious of what I'm doing, and I'm starting to become conscious of it now, because yeah, it's becoming where I actually am knowing that I never knew that what I was hating about myself was that maybe I've got ties to spiritual entities that are my relatives. So wherever they're not good. And so the fact that they're not good, well, they've told me why they're not good. And ultimately it's because they say that man plays God and thinks he's God, and then says he's not at the same time. And that man takes their spirit and borrows it. So the people that are mad at me for being the nephew of Uncle Bob are taking Uncle Bob's spirit and attacking me with his spirit. Do you understand how bad that is? Like, try to think that what they're doing is they would say that nephew of Uncle Bob is they say he's a Satanist, right? Because yeah, he's the nephew, right? Isn't that proof? I'd say, yeah, but do you know that you wouldn't be the accuser and accusing me of anything unless you were accusing me of something? And then I'd have to point out to them, are you aware of what you're doing? And if they did, they would run for the hills. So the two things you have to know is, you're trying to figure out who you are. Well, understand, do you really want to know who you're not? What if I told you you're not Uncle Bob or related to him? At least now you know who you're not. You're not his brother, Uncle Bob, the second Uncle Bob. They're not your uncles. So you don't need to worry about that. So I can tell you, you're definitely not those two guys. They're not good at all, unless I feel like it. Now you know who you're not. So I just gave you some information of who you're not related to, and what is not something you need to feel ashamed of or be scared of. And you shouldn't be scared of it. And don't be ashamed of it. You just didn't understand. And understand whether they're your uncle or not. All right. Wow. I can't believe it. Actually, it got somewhere slightly. Okay, and just to close this up, because I guess that's about it. Let me see. I want you to know that you're gonna want. I will help you if I have to be able to do a video where I'm calm and okay. And for the most part, right now, yeah, I'm still feeling whatever they're doing. They're still doing it, and ultimately, it's not. I think it's getting less, and it doesn't really mean much. If it continues, I won't know until I try it again, which means that I'm not going to be able to do any of this while I keep trying to do a video, and then it happens again and again that I'm just like sitting here going, okay, great. So they're going to still do this again, huh? Well, okay. Well, then I guess I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to help anybody ever again, but I got to keep trying. And wow, as far as you're wanting to know, well, you could be a descendant of powerful families that come from Troy. The Trojans were a race of favored by the gods. You could also be a race called from the Achaeans, which were favored by the goddesses. So you probably almost certainly are a person that's trying to discover who you are, and you probably came from one of two races. Either the race called the Trojans, that they were the favored race from the god Zeus, which means those kind of spiritual entities that had kids and descendants. Well, the Zeus god, the Jehovah guy, the Jupiter, the good god, our most high good god, he is those are the people he likes the best. So if you're one of his, if you come from the Trojans, you'll be happy to know that the most high God loves you more than everyone else. He favors you. Understand that. He will favor you. Oh, wow. It's about to shut off. Oh, I got 7%. This battery's not charging that great. I got to charge my phone. So I'll finish up here. So understand, that's A. Your A is that you're going to find out you're favored by God, which means you're better than whoever's not favored by God. And then I'm going to tell you the first mistake you need to make and how to fix it is you better start realizing it may be that you're favored by God and you don't know it or how to understand it. And it might be also you're telling yourself that, that you can't think of yourself as better than other people, right? Well, I'm going to tell you that that's not a choice of yours. If you're better than other people, you better understand. Or if you want to say you don't want to understand, then I could say that, no, you can't. You can't say that you're not better than them. If God says, I like you better than most everybody else, because I don't like them, but I like you, then you are favored and you are better than them. And he'll want you to know that. Okay, the other choice is the same principle applied with the goddess instead. Now, if it happens to be that whether God likes you more or less, or God don't like nobody, I could tell you that. He don't favor anybody but the Trojans. So if you're not favored by God, then you'll be disfavored. So as a whole, that's pretty much a good rule that can be applied. And as far as the goddesses go, it's the same principle. If they don't like you, then they dislike you, which means there's no middle ground. Either they don't like you, and that's what's going on. You're not favored, or you will be favored because they actually do pick you out as who they like, and most of them they don't like. So then you could be favored by either God or goddess, and it could be either one but not the other. It could be in rare cases. Some of you are rare cases of people that are favored by God and goddess, and rare, which means that you'll try to find why you're special. What makes me special? Well, you don't know, and that's probably why you'll feel bad and wrong. Is that you'll wonder why you want to find your value. So it may be that both God and goddess actually favor you together. That's rare. That'd be rare of rare. That would put you up in a spiritual importance of one of the greatest humans. And you would be like someone who was a loser or nobody, and maybe you're homeless. Isn't that sad when the most favored individuals of the gods and goddesses themselves will be the people in society suffering the most and also attacked the most and hated the most by society itself, and why society must pay in the hugest and biggest ways as a whole. And plagues, when they hit societies, are pissed off gods, guaranteed. That's my opinion, because that's what I was told. And I might be mad with them or not, but I'm not casting a plague on anyone. I'm saying that you don't get a plague unless the God was mad. He's not going to punish everybody together unless he's actually mad at everybody all together. And the last thing is that you've got Uncle Bob. One of the Uncle Bobs is your God, because if you do, then Jehovah won't probably tell you much unless he feels like it, and the goddesses will leave you alone, because if you're following Uncle Bob and that's all you got, well, it might be that she'll be aunt, so you won't be able to say that. She might not talk to you unless you want to talk to her, but understand that the way that you have a relationship with God and goddess together, or even one and the other, is that just because God might favor you but goddess doesn't, well, or might not, it doesn't mean that she'll hate you even if she disfavors you. So there's some kind of a relationship between the God and goddess and how they relate to humans together, or just one or the other and separate from each other. And then you have Uncle Bob's, devil and Satan. And those two gods are also gods. At least that's what they say. And they claim that, well, if we're your God, then we don't want you talking to, you don't need to talk to anybody else. You could talk to me. Ultimately they're like that. You deal with me if I'm your God. Well, I didn't say that. And if Uncle Bob said that, it wasn't me, and I'm not taking credit for it. So don't think I'm great because he's great. Or whatever. Yeah. If you're actually got Uncle Bob, you're going to feel, just think about this. If you actually somehow were accidentally following the devil or Satan and you didn't know it, well, I'll tell you that there's a lot of people that could do it. You know why? Because understand that they're not even evil like you think they are. And what they are unless they're not, which means that the idea of who they are is not even understood in this world. Uncle Bob is an uncle of yours, and if he's an uncle of yours, you don't have a choice in the matter. So if he's your God and he's talking to you, well, the God and goddess probably won't. That means that you'll get nothing but some entity that's just Uncle Bob. He might be like calling you names. He might be saying you're worthless. And understand, if you are talking to some kind of like, I pray to God, but I get the spirit that's mad at me, well, it's Uncle Bob, probably one of the Uncle Bobs. And if they're talking to you, the goddess and God will stay out of the way. Which means that it's not that God and goddess hate you or won't talk to you. That they're going to say, you are talking to Uncle Bob, or he's giving you shit right now. We'll love you. If we talk to you, we'll love you. We'll love on you. Or we'll actually be mad at you and scold you like a parent. But Uncle Bob will just be a sarcastic kind of, what do you want? Praying to me again, and you don't appreciate me, huh? I'm the bad guy, huh? Oh, you crying again? Did you crash your bike again? Oh, you're coming to me for more. No, but what? Yeah. So Uncle Bob is like a skeptic and a sarcastic kind of he's your loving uncle that says you wouldn't even look at me like anything but the worst thing you ever knew. And if you even knew who I was, you wouldn't even let me be your God. But the reality is I am, and you don't have a choice in it. I don't like any of you, and I might hurt you or do anything wrong. And ultimately his attitude's like that. So if you're praying to God and you get the sarcastic kind of Uncle Bob that says like, yeah, why should I even talk to you? Well, then you say to him, man, well, I don't really understand, but I need to have some understanding here, man. Well, then what do you want to know? Have you not understood it all? Don't think I'll be nice if I'm your God. And if I'm your God, you won't have no choice. You can't undo it. You'll have me whether you like it or not. And I'll like it. That's crazy. That's like what he's like. So understand, if I imitate him right there, don't blame me for it. Because Uncle Bob can do what he wants. And he'll get mad. That's what I'm saying. Like, people would actually try to say that I just was trying to be Uncle Bob and then get mad at me for that. No, I'm just loyal to everything in the universe and doing my job, so I should be appreciated and loved. So that's about it. You're going to try to feel guilty and go on a guilt trip. If you have Uncle Bobs, you're not going to want them, and they're not going to be nice to you, because they're going to say, yeah, we didn't like you, not ever, and we help you all the time. I saved your life 20 times this month, and you don't even know it. I freaking feed you when you're starving in your spirit. Who feeds you like with your bottle? It was me. I always do it for you, and I'm always saving your life all the time. And you don't even not appreciate me, but you actually hate my ass. You wouldn't take no help from me if you knew who I was. And I'm saving your life at least twice a year. And I'm even doing it. Yeah, don't think I'll be nice at all. And so if you're in that position, you'll have to deal with it somehow. And I would recommend you talk to him and say, well, if this is the only God I'm going to be talking to, and I'm talking to something, if he is talking to you, you'll know. You'll be interacting with something, and it'll be real to you. And if it is, well, then you'll have to have a lot of conversations and then say, well, I didn't understand this extent of the situation. Uncle Bob, I didn't know. I tried to say you were I didn't know I called you. You understand? I don't need to explain it. And otherwise, you have to get back with God or goddess if they're pissed at you because you ignored them. Yeah, that's it. All right, I'll see you in the next one.